when Rob asked me, it was like 3 weeks ago when he asked if I would like to teach 3 services. And I was kind of like, first, when he texted me, he was like, we need to talk. And I was like, oh no, I'm in trouble. What did I do wrong? And then he's like, no. And then I asked him, I was like, did I do something wrong? And he's like, no, you're fine. And I was like, okay. And then he talked to me in person. He's like, oh, would you like to teach the weekend we're gone for Israel? Not Israel, Costa Rica. And so I was like, heck to the yeah, I'll teach. But kind of my expectations for the weekend were very different, which were good, because it was kind of like, it was also humbling because I had to like change my mindset the last 2 services. And when it came to this weekend and what I wanted to share with you guys and kind of what God's been putting on my heart, and I hope and pray for you guys who come to understand, is this topic of friendship and community, and why that's significant and why that's important. For me, I asked myself, like, why is that important? Why do I need to talk about this? Why should this be significant to you guys? And also, I asked myself, like, why can't I just do life alone? And it's that simple. Or, like, why do I need people in my life? And a little bit of backstory. In high school and kind of just in general, I was a very independent person. Take care of myself, look out for myself, and look out for my family. My friends weren't super important. Like, yes, I had friends, but also I didn't really have friends. And part of that was because people didn't really know me, so they couldn't really love me. And you've heard Rob before that you can't be fully loved if you're not fully known. And when it comes to this friendship and community, I like to title my messages, and my message today is Friendship and Community, Grow in a Grove. And so, when it came to me coming to Thrive, I was very hesitant. In all honest feelings, I didn't know what I was stepping into. I didn't know who Rob was, didn't know who Dante at the time was either, or Katie, all the leaders involved here. I had no idea what I was stepping into. And for me, it was difficult because I had made the decision last year to make North Coast my community, to make North Coast my home church. And when I left my old church, a place I was so plugged into and grew up in, like, that was hard to leave because I was like, I had something good and I don't want to leave that. But when it came to coming to Thrive, I remember my first Wednesday night there, it was a worship night. And I got there and had no idea what I was stepping into. I didn't even know who Rob looked like. I just knew his name and his last name, but other than that, I had no clue what to look for. Didn't know exactly where the Thrive room was either. So when I got here, I was kind of like lost, confused, and not super ready to be back in ministry. But at the same time, like, when I got here, man, like, I was so overwhelmed by how great this community is here. Like, the amount of community you guys have and, like, friendships you guys develop here, and just how huge this ministry has grown. And just within my past year being here, like, seeing where I started here and where it was at, and then kind of like where we're at now in Thrive, like, it's crazy to me. And how God's been moving in this community and also moving in our friendships and relationships. And so, like, for me, it changed my perspective that I still have this to work on. I still have to work on my friendships and my community because it's something I should invest in. And as I thought about that, I also learned I can't do life alone. And when I do life alone, I can only do so much. And that's my first point. I can only do so much. And so I used to be very independent, like I said, but when you do things by yourself, you'll only get so far. You'll only do so much. You'll only get so much accomplished. And there's this quote I like, and it goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And so when it came to me and my independency and being an individual, being myself, and only looking out for my own, like, yes, I could do life. Yes, I could take care of things. Yes, I could do all those stuff. I could finish, but at the same time, there's no room for growth. If I do life alone, I won't be able to progress in life. Like, I can't see, like, my own flaws, because I'll think I'm doing fine. I'll think I'm perfect. I think the way I handle things is great. And so if I do life alone, that's all I get. But when I do life together, when I do things with other people, that leaves room for a lot of different things. That leaves room for accountability. That leaves room for intercession and all these other things. And when it comes to this, even when man was created, when Adam was created, God even said, it's not good for man to be alone. And that's in Genesis 2:18. Even from the start, we were made for relationship. We were made for connection. Adam was already connected and in relationship with God, but he even saw that man needed a companion, needed a helper. And that's what friendships do. They help us. And not just the romantic relationship that was between Adam and Eve, but when it comes to you and your friends, like, there's so much we could do for each other. There's so much we could learn from each other and grow in together. And that brings me to this idea, and kind of my next point is that when we develop friendships, we learn friends fight for you, but also friends will fight with you. And when I thought about this, I learned friendships aren't always going to be fine and dandy. They aren't always going to be the most pleasant, and sometimes you're going to lose friends. And for me, last summer, I went through this season of losing a few really good friends, and that was tough. Of letting go of certain friendships because, like, of just different views on handling situations or different things going on in life, and just us colliding in a sense where it wouldn't be a healthy friendship. It would be very difficult for us to be good friends. And when I let some of those friendships go, those were tough on me. But at the same time, like, I couldn't cling to that. But it also developed my other friendships around me. It developed the friends I did have still. Like, yes, I lost a few friends, but at the same time, it grew my other friendships as well. And when it came to us having friends, you'll find out I'm pretty nerdy. I'm pretty weird when it comes to, like, what I nerd out about. And one of my biggest things I love is Power Rangers. And so, you guys, like, as I thought about this, I was reading one of the comments in front of Rob in the offices last Wednesday, and then he, like, gave me a glare. He's like, "You're gonna teach on Power Rangers, aren't you?" I was like, I don't know. Don't judge me. It's fine. And then I was like, it's so applicable. Because what I love, not about, like, the TV shows are so corny. They're so, like, not the coolest thing to watch, especially when you're 25. It's kind of weird. Amen. But when it comes to the comic books, like, I've been reading the comics, and it's such a different story. But in the comics right now, they're going through this timeline and storyline where every Power Rangers team in Power Rangers history is being affected by this one villain who's taking over the galaxy and trying to just rule the world and destroy all Rangers. Basic storyline of any Power Rangers plot. But in this story, like, I think it's just because of the nostalgia and also like getting to see all these Power Rangers come together. Like literally I read the comic and threw it and screamed because I was like, oh my gosh, like my childhood all coming together in one comic. And so when it came to like friends and then fighting for each other, like 20 different teams of Power Rangers all coming together to fight a common foe. Like none of them even know each other, but they know they need each other. And each team's different, each team has their flaws, each person in each team is probably could be the best of friends, but because they have a common threat and a common goal and a common mission, they're able to band together and fight together as friends and as a community of Power Rangers. And like they have this phrase, once a Ranger, always a Ranger. And I was like, dang, that's so dope. Like, if I could live life like that, live my faith like that, like it changes how I approach relationships with people, how I approach this community. And when it came to that, I look back at a story in Mark 2, 1 through 12. And it's the paralytic man and the 4 men that bring him to Jesus. But you gotta understand, like, I don't think these were just 4 strangers that decided to just pick up this random paralytic man on the street and bring him to Jesus. Because also they had very strict laws and rules when it came to interacting with people who were lame or sick or have some kind of disease. You weren't allowed to be near them. And so when it came to these 4 men, I know without a doubt these were probably people who cared about me. And when you look into this story, when you look into this account and this encounter with Jesus, these 4 men fight through a crowd to bring their friend to Jesus. And that's crazy to me. I don't know about you. If I was paralyzed all my life, being taken care of would probably be such a hard experience for me. Not being able to do things on my own, not being able to feed myself, not being able to bathe myself, and not being able to go to the bathroom on my own probably will be such a hard experience to receive help in. And especially if you're a grown adult, like I could only imagine how difficult that was for him. Like how hard that must have been to have people that care about you and take care of you, and like not only know all of you, but see all of you. Like that's hard, especially when you're in your weakest states. So for these 4 men to go out of their way to bring this guy, to bring their friend to Jesus, because there's a cool thing that happens in this story. And it says, through their faith, he was healed. And I don't know about you, but there's sometimes times where we need to learn to fight for our friends. Fight for our friends' faith. Especially when they're in a season where they don't really want to do anything with God or church. I don't know all you guys in this room. I don't know where you're at when it comes to your belief and where you're at in your faith. But I hope you have those types of friendships. I hope you have a friend that wants you to experience God and Jesus in your life and wants you to know that. Or I hope you're that friend for someone else. Like for me, when I lost my older brother, that was the hardest thing in my life. And not only was losing him hard, but the way I lost him made it even more difficult. And so, in this situation, it was a friend that brought my brother to this party. And also, it was a friend that kind of set him up for that night. And when I learned that, that made me not trust people. That made me think, people are only out to hurt me. People are only out to get me. People don't care, and people are not going to do anything for me. And I can't trust friends either. And so, my senior year, I started walking alone, being by myself because I needed to be safe. I needed my walls, I needed my boundaries because if friends could do this to each other, like I don't want that. I should just take care of myself and look out for my own. But then one day, and then another day, and another day, I had a friend that I hadn't talked to since middle school show up right next to me and make sure I wasn't walking alone. We hadn't talked throughout high school. We weren't good friends in high school. Like, yes, we knew each other still, but we had no interaction since then. But she made sure I wasn't walking alone. She made sure that, yes, I was hurting, and she made sure I was doing okay. She made sure I still wanted to live. And she made sure that I was going to see Jesus. Like, she was my only Christian friend at that time. And yes, through that craziness of losing my brother, like, I was able to, those friendships were able to be redeemed. My view on friendships will be able to be redeemed. And it's cool. Like, yes, friends will fight for us. And my friend we haven't talked for years, but she still fought for me. She fought to make sure I wasn't by myself. That if I was hurting, that I wouldn't hurt alone. And that changed things for me. And from then on, that changed my trajectory when it came to interacting with friends and developing friendships. And some of you guys know Christian in the back. He and I are not only roommates, but he and I are pretty great friends. I call him one of my best friends. But if you know both of us, you probably get we're very different people.
Amen.
Very, very different people.
Big facts.
He's a little more rambunctious than I am. Not even a little. A lot more rambunctious than I am. He'll like to wrestle. He'll like to do that thing, wrestle with people here at youth group. I will automatically tap out right away. And so it's just like, but with our different personalities, like, I've seen him fight for me, but also we fought a few times, not physically fight, but like, we've got little moments where I'm like, I don't agree with you, and I'm not changing my beliefs because of what you think. But also through that tension, like, it's grown our relationship so much. And it's cool because, like, we've been able to see how that's affected our, not only relationship, but also our faith. And then how that applies to our friendships and then our community. Like, it's been so cool to serve together here at Thrive. And, like, to do that has been such a cool experience for me. And then just to grow in that together, not only just because we live together, but we're doing life together. And then we're investing in our communities. And through all this, through friendships, we have accountability, we have intercession, we have fellowship. And, like, the cool opportunity we have here, like, yes, the Costa Rica team is out in Costa Rica doing a missions trip. And that sometimes we think that's like they're doing something big, we're just here hanging out. But we have such an opportunity here to do that for this community, to serve our community here, to serve friends that are hurting here. Because we know that we're on that same mission field. Just like the Power Rangers. Like, yes, they're all from different storylines, timelines, whatever. And it doesn't make sense for them to be together. But because they have a common mission, they're willing to put down any, whatever issues they have to fight this fight together for the greater good. And for us, when we do that, I've learned that friends are the family you choose. And that's my third point. Friends are the family you choose. And I don't know where everyone's at when it comes to family life. I don't know what your family situation is, but I know for a fact not everyone has the greatest family situation. Not everyone has the opportunity to have both parents. Not everyone has the great opportunity to live a decent, rich lifestyle, or not everyone has those opportunities. And sometimes families are really messy. I know from my family, like I've had very messy family situations, and it's been tough for me. But when it's come to friends, friends are the ones you choose to be your family. You have a choice to let them be your family or not. And when it comes to that, you are who you surround yourself with. In Proverbs, which one is it? 15:33, it talks about if you walk with fools, you'll become a fool. But if you surround yourself with the wise, you'll become wise. And then in 1 Corinthians 15:33, good company, corrupt, bad company, not good company, bad company, guys, corrupts good character. And it's like, when I look back at my life and who I surrounded myself with in high school, I could see how, yes, my friends weren't terrible people. They weren't bad people. They didn't make me make decisions where I'm like, oh, will send me to jail or parent. Like, none of those decisions I made were gonna send me to juvie or anything. But they did develop different habits for me. Like, I never used to curse, never cussed until I was in high school. And I never had a temper either. But because I was surrounding myself with people who often cussed and also had a short temper, I just started to develop that. And I also believe like, oh, it's okay, I'm a Christian, I could probably influence them to come to Christ. Maybe even come to church. But I learned more often than not, your circle of friends are going to influence you more than you're going to influence them. Especially if you're the only Christian in that circle. And that's a scary circle to be involved in. Not saying that that's bad for you, but also be aware. Like, if you surround yourself with bad company, it's going to affect you. You could hope and pray that you will affect them, but there's strength in numbers, and if you're the only one, it's not going to go very far. And I see how that's applied to mine. And when it comes to us choosing family, we need to understand this verse in Proverbs 18:24. It's okay, I'm not crying, it's just this light. These lights are killing my eyes, guys. Okay. There we go. But Proverbs 18:24, I'm reading from the Amplified version, and it goes like this. The man of too many friends, chosen indiscriminately, will be broken in pieces and come to ruin. But there is a true loving friend who is reliable and sticks closer than a brother. And when it comes to this and understanding that there's going to be a friend that sticks closer than family. Sometimes when it comes to our family relationships, we feel obligated to do something because they're blood. But when you have a friend that chooses to be there for you, not because they're blood related to you, because they have to, but because they're choosing to do it because they love you, like, keep that friend near you. Keep those friends with you. Because those are the ones worth keeping. And sometimes when it comes to that, like, it's hard for us to receive that. Trust me, I know. I've had a lot of times where it's hard for me to receive good friends because, like, I honestly didn't think I deserved it. Honestly didn't think I deserved good friends. And I was afraid to let them know who I really was. But when you let yourself be fully known by someone, it gives you the opportunity to be fully loved by someone. And I want you guys to think about that. If you have someone in your friend group that really knows you, faults and all, like I've been able to develop that, and it's scary, trust me. One of the biggest things that was kind of like a truth bomb in my life was when I was at the Jordan. We were going through this series called Life Hacks, and the topic was friends. How do you hack your friendships? And one of the biggest points was You're not going to trust someone until you trust them. And that sounds so like, oh, that sounds so simple, but it's one of the hardest things to do. When you feel like you have a messy life, such like hard things to talk about, and you're afraid to give that to someone because you think it's so ugly and no one will love me for that. It's scary to have that in your hands and then be like, here, this is who I am, and this is what I've done. And you don't know what they're going to do with that. And that's oftentimes terrifying to us to do. Like when I opened up to Christian about like some of my past mistakes, things in my life that I really regret, I was honestly terrified. Scared of how he was going to react, and honestly scared that he just might up and leave. But then I learned friends are reliable. Friends show up even when you don't expect them to. And that, like, with that example in my life, I was able to grow not only with my friendships and relationships with other people, but it really is a huge depiction of God choosing us. And I want you to think about that. Really understand that God chose you, not because he had to, not because he's obligated to do so. He loves us, but also understand that he really, really likes you. Like, understand that. Take hold of that. Like, there's a verse that says he's also well pleased because of Jesus. And that's how God sees us. He's well pleased. And that was hard for me to receive. Hard for me to understand and come to grips with that. God's not only my father, but he's also my friend. And when you have a friend that wants to hang out with you, like, it's such a different relationship. When someone really, really likes you, like, or when you really like someone, whether that's romantic or just friendship, it's like you want to be around that person. You want to hang out with them consistently. You want them in your life. And that's how Jesus and God pursues us. He doesn't have to because he loves us. It's because he likes us too. He really, really likes us and wants us to be a part of his life too. And that's crazy. And when we understand and develop that, understand that what friendship looks like and community looks like, ultimately it brings me to this last point, that community communicates Christ. And in John 13, I believe, John 13:35. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciple, if you have love and unselfish concern for one another. When we have that, when we understand the way we love each other is going to show who we follow. Because trust me, I've been in youth ministry for 7, 8 years now. And it's always such a blessing to see students thrive, to see students grow in their identity and relationship. But also, I've seen the downside. I've seen a lot of students fall away. I've seen students who used to love God end up hating him. And that's heartbreaking. Like, that's so hard to watch. And then when I don't have that connection with them anymore, like, I don't have that friendship with them anymore, there's nothing I can do. And it sucks. It sucks to see that happen to people because oftentimes what's associated with a church community is hate. And what I want to challenge you guys here is, like, does this community, does our Thrive community communicate that? Do people know who we love because of the way we treat each other here? Like, yeah, you don't have to be best friends with everyone, trust me. It's not going to work out. But that doesn't mean you treat people like crap. Doesn't mean you ignore people. Doesn't mean you don't make someone feel welcome here. Doesn't mean you don't ask them how they're doing. Just because you don't have to be best friends with everyone doesn't mean you can't love them. And that's how we communicate Christ, by the way we treat each other and the way we love each other here. And it's like, I don't know where you guys are at with all this. I don't know where you guys are at when it comes to your friendships and your circle. But I know this will make it or break in your faith. Because it was a make it or break in mine. I tried to do it alone. I tried to handle, this is just between me and God. No one else needs to be involved in this. And then I learned my friends need to be in this. My community needs to be in this. Because honestly, when it comes to this, we grow better together. We grow in a grove and we thrive together. Because we do this thing at my coffee house, not my coffee house, I don't own it, but I work at a coffee house up in this side, work at the main campus. And when we get bananas delivered to us, sometimes they're like super green and like not the most, they're not servable. No one's gonna eat a green banana. And if you do, you're weird. No judgment, I'm so sorry if you do. But like when we get these deliveries of unripe bananas, what we tend to do is we'll get a few of the ripe ones and keep them near them. And what that does, it causes the other bananas to start not producing faster, ripening faster. I'm not a super sciencey person, but I've seen a lot of DIY stuff at home, life hack videos to be like, oh, if you want a ripe banana and the bananas you bought aren't super ripe yet, put them next to ripe fruits and other stuff that'll help that get ripe faster. And it's like, wow. And it's just like our Christianity. And it's just like that with our faith. Yes, we could do our faith and walk by ourselves, but honestly, we're not going to get too far. We're not going to grow that much. But when we're doing it in this community, when we're doing it in a circle of friends and a community that's pursuing Christ, we'll grow so much more and get so much farther. I kind of want to end it with this. I haven't forgotten about Power Rangers. And there's this cool thing they have called the Megazord. And honestly, it's such a perfect picture of what the church should look like. The Megazord. But the Megazord won't function without each body part. Like if one of the members refuses to join in, like the Megazord's pointless. It can't fight that fight. It won't be able to do anything significant if the legs and the arm refuse to join the body. And then didn't want to listen to the head. They didn't want to listen to that. And just like with our Christianity, just like us as a church community, if we're not all focused on Jesus, and we're not focused on God being the center, then what we do is pointless. We're not going to function well. We're not going to display God's love well if we're not all focused on Jesus. And I want to challenge you guys with this. Think about your friends. Think about the circle you're in. Is it a good influence on you? Is it pushing you towards Christ? Is it making you more Christ-like? Are you a good friend to people? Are you fighting for not only your faith, but your friend's faith? And do you want people to see Jesus, not just through you, but through the friend group you're in, through the community you're involved in? Because everyone needs Jesus. And I hope you guys take that to heart. I hope you understand that this thing we have here, don't take it for granted, because I did. I never went to youth group growing up, and I wish I did. I wish it was something I had, but I avoided that. Probably could have saved me a lot of hurt and heartbreak. Probably would have grown me a lot quicker. And I just want to leave you guys with that. Let's pray. Father God, I just thank you for this time. Thank you that we get to just be here, be a part of all this that you're doing, God. And I just pray that for any of us that are struggling with this idea of friendship and community. I pray that you make this understandable and tangible to us, God. And I thank you that we get to be here, that we get to worship, praise your name, God. And I just pray for the Costa Rica team, God, that you just keep them safe and that they keep focused on you. And I just thank you that we have this opportunity. Thank you for everyone in this room. And in your son's name I pray. Amen.